Mavs fans, I appreciate all 8,000 plus of you that have already subscribed to the All Things Mavs channel, but I'm trying to get to 9,000 before the NBA draft because, guys, draft is right around the corner, and we're going to have all the Mavs coverage you need. So if you want to help me get to 9,000, type 9 in the comment section below to let me know that you already have subscribed. And for those of you that haven't, go ahead, scroll on down, hit that subscribe button, and then you can join the rest of them by typing that 9 in the comment section. Now let's get right into today's show.
All Things Mavs.
Could the Dallas Mavericks look to trade for JJ Redick this offseason? That's one idea that Fansided threw out there. Now, Fansided is also the Smoking Cuban online. And listen, JJ Redick is still one of the league's best three-point shooters. He has been for a long time since he was with Philadelphia and Orlando and now with the New Orleans Pelicans. And he's also on an expiring deal. So if the Mavs were to trade for him, it would only be a one-year rental, and then they could look to sign him even longer. Now, the one problem with JJ Redick that I do have is that he is a complete defensive liability. I have no problem with the fact that the guy's 36 years old, because if he's on a one-year deal, the age doesn't really matter. In fact, a veteran on this team might just help. But where I start to have a problem with it was the idea itself that the Smoking Cuban threw out there. JJ Redick and the 13th overall pick come to the Mavs. Maxi Kleber and the 18th overall pick get sent out to New Orleans. And on paper, I really don't hate this idea. In fact, I think this is very close to getting it done on both sides because the Pelicans do need a real center behind Jackson Hayes and even another forward, behind Zion Williamson. And that 13 to 18 pick, here's the problem. The jump from 18 to 13 in this draft, skill-wise, is not that big of a gap. But you look at what you'd get in JJ Redick. And he has consistently, like I said, been one of the league's best three-point shooters, not shooting below 39% one time in the past 4 years, and he's been really, really durable. Sure, he's 36, but he doesn't have a game that relies on athleticism. So if you want to make the argument that the Mavs should trade for JJ Redick, you just look at the stats, you point to the numbers and say, the consistency's there. Adding him off the bench with a guy like Seth Curry would be huge for the offensive side. But then you got to look who you're giving up, and it's Maxi Kleber. And the problem here is that Maxi Kleber is the best defender on this Mavs team behind Dorian Finney-Smith. He can guard the power forward position, the center position. He's a lob threat. He stretches the floor. He's on a team-friendly contract, and he's younger than JJ Redick. All those factors lead me to say, no thank you. But if the Mavs did the trade and they trade up to 13, you could target some of these guys that I don't think will be available at 18, like a Cole Anthony or a Kira Lewis if you want to go for a guard. Aaron Nesmith, who's going to be a lethal shooter. I think he could actually be there at 18. Same with Sadiq Bey. Patrick Williams definitely won't be there at 18. I think he goes in the lottery. So sure, you move up a little bit to get there. But my problem here is I can't give up that good of a defender for JJ Redick because JJ Redick is that bad defensively. Now, Maxi's not as good offensively as JJ Redick, but he gives you enough, and combined with his defense, it's just perfect. So I'd rather keep Maxi in 13 and not trade for JJ Redick in this one. But if you had to upgrade one of these two for this season, type your S for shooting or type your D for defense. I mean, defense is the only right answer in this one. The Mavs have some solid shooters. They're not great, but they have good enough ones. I'd like to upgrade that position too, that skill, but defense, number one priority this offseason. Now, another trade that's being kicked around out there is one for Andre Drummond, and I feel like this has been going on since last season, but we're circling back around to it, and Bleacher Report says, hey, the Mavs should trade for Andre Drummond. No, they shouldn't. I will stand pat on this. I have stood pat on this for a long time. I don't want Andre Drummond on this team. I especially do not want to give up assets for Andre Drummond. If he was a free agent and he was willing to come on a team-friendly deal like a Maxi Kleber deal, sure. But here's the thing. The NBA is changing, and Andre Drummond's game is not. So here's the deal that Bleacher Report threw out there. They said, hey, Mavs get Andre Drummond, Cavs get Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Delon Wright, and the 31st overall pick, which was actually kind of a surprising deal. I thought they would have overvalued Drummond. I do think skill-wise the value is pretty equal here, but when you look at team needs and the amount of depth the Mavs would be giving up here, this is a no from me from a Mavs standpoint. Dwight Powell will be coming back this year. He's fully healthy. He will be ready to go. Sure, he's not the rebounder or really the size that Andre Drummond is, but he's a better overall lob threat in Rick Carlisle's system, and he can kind of stretch the floor inconsistently. Maxi Kleber, much better defender than Andre Drummond and can actually shoot the ball. And then Delon Wright. Now, I still think he gets moved at some point this offseason, but that's still a depth piece that would be gone if you were to trade for Andre Drummond. My biggest problem with Drummond, like I said already, is that his game is not adjusting to today's NBA, where in today's NBA, it's pace and space. You're going fast all the time, and you're trying to space the floor with as many shooters as possible. Andre Drummond is a slow big man that plays with his back to the basket and doesn't stretch the floor. So I am not doing this deal. I'm not giving up 2 starting caliber big men, a depth role player in Delon Wright, and the 31st overall pick, which I think will come out to be a solid role player, or even maybe you can trade that for a different piece for Andre Drummond. But would you do the deal? Let me know. Type your Y for yes, type your N for no. I hope that I've swayed you enough, but we'll just have to see. Now, one thing that you should always be saying yes to is wearing a mask right now. Dallas, you got to do it in DFW or probably wherever you are. Maybe some of our international listeners and watchers have those restrictions lifted. I don't really know what's going on. I don't pay attention enough, but I know that you got to wear a mask. So go to chatsports.com/MavsMask to get yours today. I've already got mine. I wash it just about once a week, so keep it nice and clean. And good thing Fanatics has all these awesome different designs that you can wear. So go to chatsports.com/MavsMask. Pick one up for yourself today. You can get 1, 2 packs of 3 or packs of 4. Multiple different styles coming out all the time over on Fanatics. Now let's talk about the NBA draft, because as I said at the top of the show, it is coming up, and we already have reports of who the Mavs are getting in their pre-draft workouts. According to @MavsDraft on Twitter, which is one of the best follows at this time of the year, he said that he can confirm Immanuel Quickley of Kentucky has officially worked out for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Quickley is one of the best shooters in the college game. He was this past year as a sophomore at Kentucky. He does not finish well at the rim, though, only finished 48% at the rim. And his defensive potential in the NBA is completely up in the air. He's undersized at 6'3", but his length and his defensive ability in college made him a pretty solid defender. And this past year at Kentucky, there you have it. 43% from 3, 16 points per game. He was SEC Player of the Year and deserved it. The only problem I had with Quickley is that as a freshman, he wasn't doing this, and he wasn't even doing this in the first half of the year. It wasn't until the second half of the year that he started playing the way these numbers were projecting. But here's my thing. Immanuel Quickley would be perfect for the Mavs in the second round. I'm not going to take him in the first round. He's just not – he doesn't do it for me officially in the first round. But if you can get him in the second round, I think you absolutely take him, especially if you get a wing in the first round. I think some other targets could be guys like Malachi Flynn out of San Diego State, although I don't love his fit on this Dallas team. Jamias Ramsey is a kid that I've talked about a lot, but he seems to be slipping down draft boards for some reason. And then if you want to go with a big man, guys like Vernon Carey Jr. or Zeke Naji out of Arizona should be available for you at 31 as well. But here's my thing. Immanuel Quickley has everything the Mavs want in a guard. He has the defensive aggressiveness. Maybe the skill's not there quite yet because of how undersized he is. He has the shooting. He has the length. He has the best floater game in college. Only problem is he doesn't finish well at the rim. Good thing for the Mavs is they have guys that can already do that well enough. So if Immanuel Quickley is there at 31 and the Mavs address their wing need in the first round, I'm taking this kid. And I love that the Mavs got a workout in with him. No reports on how that went, but I'm sure we'll have them for you very, very soon. This is a kid that I'd keep an eye on because he seems to be climbing up draft boards. And guys, one more time before I ask you this last question, make sure you have subscribed because guess what? The draft coverage, it's all going to be right here on All Things Mavs. Final question of the day on today's show. Who should Dallas target in round 2? Do you think it should be an Immanuel Quickley? Do you want a big man like a Vernon Carey Jr. or a Zeke Naji? One guy I didn't mention was Desmond Bane out of TCU because I think Desmond Bane has officially moved into that first-round territory. I do not think he'll be there at 31, but I would love Desmond Bane in round 1. Let me know who you guys want in round